What's up, everybody? It's Cody with OgletreeOrdinance.com, and we're going to get into the new changes that just dropped from the ATF. It's a regulation change that's going to affect, could possibly affect millions of people and make them felons. First off, it is the new definition of the AR pistol. This is, well, a braced pistol. Let me change that. Not an AR pistol, a braced pistol. This would be a braced pistol in the AR platform. Instead of having a rear buttstock, it's got a rear arm brace. Instead of being designed to be shot from the shoulder, it's designed to be shot where this is braced up against your forearm, where you can shoot it like this. The ATF just changed these regulations. It went into effect January 31st. And you have 120 days to get into compliance. What is compliance? As of May 31st, if you have an AR pistol, you've got a few options. Option number one, you can register it as a short-barreled rifle. What is a short-barreled rifle? It's a rifle with a barrel shorter than 16 inches with a buttstock on it designed to be shot from the shoulder, just like any other normal rifle. That's what a short-barreled rifle is. See how this one's got an adjustable stock on it and it's designed to be shot from the shoulder? That's the difference between it and an AR pistol. So this is your short-barreled rifle. As of May 31st, you have to have your braced pistol, whether it's the AR platform or the AK platform, registered as a short-barreled rifle. That's option one. Option number two, take your AR pistol, simply remove the brace off of it. Once the brace is removed off of it, it is still a legal AR pistol. And the reason that is, I'll get into later on, but let's just go with that right now. Third option, you can add a 16-inch barrel to your AR pistol, essentially making it a rifle, and then it doesn't matter if you have a brace on the back or a buttstock because it's no longer a pistol. It would be considered a legal length rifle. Your next two options, you can surrender it to the ATF. You can just give it back. They're not going to give you any money or anything like that. You just give it and say, hey, I don't want it anymore. Your last option, you destroy it, rendering the firearm inoperable. So let's say you don't want to do that. Your easiest and most cost-effective option is going to be to remove the brace. And like I said, once you pull that brace off and it's just got the bare pistol buffer tube, then it is a legal AR pistol. And it doesn't matter if it's still got the short barrel. You don't have enough on the back of it to shoulder the weapon. That's what all this comes down to. If there's enough material on the back of that brace, for example, like this KAK blade brace, there's enough material on there that it could be shouldered. So that's why the ATF's coming after it. If you've got just the bare pistol buffer tube, then it can be, there's not enough material on the end of it to be shouldered, so you are a legal pistol. Now, a lot of y'all are running the SB Tactical adjustable braces, and instead of having that round, smooth pistol buffer tube, they've got an adjustable standard carbine style buffer tube. According to the ATF, this is perfectly legal to have on your pistol. So once you remove that brace, even if you've got this style buffer tube on it, it's still completely legal because there's not enough material on the back of that gun to be shouldered. Let's say that you want to keep your pistol, you want to keep the brace on it. What do you do from there? You can register it on as a short-barreled rifle under the National Firearms Act. Now, for the next 120 days, they're waiving the $200 tax stamp fee that goes along with the NFA registration. So what you would need to do is you go on the eForms website. It's atf.gov/eForms. Create an account, create your login, password, and all that. And you will file a Form 1 on the ATF eForms website. What Form 1 is for self-manufacturing a short-barreled rifle. And so that's essentially what you're doing with your pistol brace. Now, as of the training session that I went through with ATF on December 31st, one of the questions that was brought up was, there's possibly 40 million braced pistols out there. There's no way the ATF could process all that paperwork in 120 days. What are you supposed to do? According to the ATF, as of January 31st, if you have paperwork showing your application is pending for the short-barreled rifle, that is good enough for you to have your AR pistol. Not the completed, approved tax stamp returned to you, just the pending process. Now we talked about taking your brace off. We talked about how to file on Form 1. Now let's talk about some of the things that you may not think of as a braced pistol. The CAA Micro-Ronies. Let me drop a picture of it right here. Okay, the CAA Ronies are essentially a modular plastic chassis that you can put your Glock in. Just a standard Glock 19, Glock 17, doesn't matter. It slips right in. It gives you a braced platform to shoot that with. You can add optics to it, all kinds of stuff. Under this new regulation change for the braced pistols, that is now considered a short-barreled rifle. So if you want to use your CAA micro, you have to take your Glock 17, Glock 19, SIG P320, whatever you have to fit in that Roni, and register that pistol as a short-barreled rifle. So from now on, your Glock will be forever a short-barreled rifle, and that's the only way that you can use one of those Micro-Ronies. Because if you get caught with one of those CAA micros with a pistol in it, now it's going to be considered just the same as having an unlicensed short-barreled rifle. Now let's move on to the Shockwave style shotguns. Okay, the Shockwaves are a great home defense style shotgun. I mean, you've got Mossberg, Remington, Black Aces Tactical. I mean, there's tons of companies that are making these 14.5-inch barreled shotguns with the bird's head grip on them. They weren't specifically addressed in this regulation change because a lot of y'all have seen like the Remington TAC 13 or the TAC 14, where it's one of the Shockwave style shotguns with the SBA4 brace on the back. That was not specifically addressed in this regulation change, but it's advised, this was part of the ATF at that meeting, it's advised that you treat those shotguns the same as you do the braced pistols. So if you've got the Mossberg Shockwave that still has the bird's head grip, it's perfectly legal, nothing changes. If you've got it with a buffer tube extension put on the back and a SBA tactical or a KAK brace on the back of it, up to the interpretation of the ATF agent, you could be getting into trouble for that. Like I say, it wasn't specifically addressed in these regulations, but they're recommending that you treat them the same. Okay, let's talk about the non-AR braced pistols, because there's a difference in the two. If you've got a mini Draco or a Draco, looks like a little short AK, 7.5, 10.5-inch barrel. At the back of the frame, it cuts off. There's no receiver extension. Those are perfectly legal from this point going forward. You cannot have a brace on the back of it, and you cannot have the receiver extension on the back of it like you would to put your brace on. So on the AR platform, there's wordage in this new regulation change. There's a extension past the back of the receiver that is necessary for the operation of the gun. When you pull the trigger, the round detonates, the bolt carrier group slides back into this buffer tube extension where you've got the buffer and the spring. The bolt carrier group slides back, the spring pushes it back forward to chamber the next round. So this extension is necessary for the operation of the gun. So you can have this extension on the back of the AR platform. Now, if you've got an AK, a CZ Scorpion, the 6-hour MPX, that's not necessary for the operation of the gun. So you cannot have those same receiver extensions that you do on the back of an AR. Therefore, you got to take your AK, and if there's anything behind the rear of the receiver, take all that off, and then it'll be legal. If you want to have the brace and all that on there, if it was an American-made weapon, you can register it as an SBR. If it was foreign-made, so if it was like the Pioneer Arms Hell Pup, is imported in a pistol form with nothing on the back of it, that gun cannot be made into an SBR because of the regulations and laws that rule the imports. So all of that, you have to leave them as they come with no braces and no extensions on the back of it. Okay, let's talk about a little something that can get you in trouble with ATF, and a lot of people don't know what it is and how to accidentally fall in this trap. It's called constructive possession. What constructive possession is you have two components that can readily be altered to give you a short barrel rifle example. So let's say you're going to the gun range, you get pulled over for speeding, the cops look in the trunk of your car, whatever it is, for whatever reason you get caught with it. You have a assembled lower receiver ready to go. You have a short-barreled upper receiver that's complete and ready to go. These two things aren't attached. They're still separated, so you don't have a complete firearm. But what you do have is constructive possession, because in a matter of seconds, you can assemble that upper and that lower, and now you have an assembled SBR that's unregistered. That would be considered constructive possession. How's that going to relate to you with the new ATF pistol rules? You've got your smooth buffer tube AR pistol. It's completely legal to have. In your possession at the same time, you have a brace for that pistol. They're separate, they're stored together, but they're completely separate. There's your constructive possession, because you can simply put it on, tighten up the bolt, and now you have what would be considered an illegal braced pistol, which would have to be registered as an SBR. So that's your constructive possession. With all that being said, this is just a real quick overview. I've been getting a lot of questions for weeks now on what's happening with the AR pistols. Let me just say, with everything that's just been said, number one, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a federal law enforcement officer. If you're coming to some random dude on the internet for legal advice, that's kind of on you. So no matter what I tell you, if you own one of these braced pistols, check with local law enforcement, check with the ATF, check with an attorney before you make a decision. And number two, I'm a federally licensed firearms dealer. I cannot and will not tell you to break a federal firearms regulation. So what are my personal recommendations? What am I going to do with my personal pistols? Well, the SBR I showed you is already an SBR, so it's going to stay an SBR, and that's the way it's going to be. This AR pistol is going to get a 16-inch barrel, because I don't want to have to register it as an SBR and the regulations that go along with it. My personal recommendation, what I want to do with my guns that are pistols, I want to put a 16-inch barrel on it and call it a day, because I don't want the extra regulations of those registered firearms. But at the end of the day, the decision's up to you. If you want to roll the dice and take a chance that you can get a free tax stamp for an SBR, now's your opportunity to save $200 on that. You can hit me up with a DM. You can call the shop and I'll get you squared away on how to do the paperwork and get it set up for you. If you want to swap it over to a 16-inch barrel, same thing. Hit me up in the DMs, call the shop. We're doing a deal right now for $100. We'll sell you a 16-inch barrel for 5.56, 7.62, or 300 blackout. Put you a 16-inch barrel on there on your AR platform, labor, barrel, everything included for $100. If you have any more questions, just hit it in the comments and I'll try and answer it the best I can. If not, I'll try and get you a hold of somebody who can answer your questions.